Hi, my name's Phil. I'd like to talk about politics. So Nigel Farage is clearly sensing the danger of being linked to his former colleague, who has admitted accepting Russian bribes in return for making the same sort of pro-Russian statements Farage himself made. Both Nigel Farage and Richard Tice are furiously trying to claim that they were never close to Nathan Gill, hadn't even met him. Yet it's very easy to prove they both had a close working relationship with Gill at the time he was accepting those bribes. So why tell such desperate lies? Because they think they're in desperate trouble, that's why. And journalists and politicians are still failing to ask the most important questions of all. Given that we know Russia had approached Nathan Gill with a view to bribing him, because he's admitted it, they must also have approached others close to him, similar sorts of politicians, including Nigel Farage. Why hasn't anyone asked Farage how he responded when Russian agents approached him? Did he make his own pro-Russian statements for free and report those agents to the authorities, or did he accept bribes himself? But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So on Newsnight last night, Green leader Zach Polanski was pressing Zia Yusuf about Nigel Farage's relationship with Nathan Gill, the man who has admitted taking multiple bribes from Russia in return for making pro-Russian statements in the European Parliament and in the media. Now, where I'm going to say Polanski made a huge error here was in asking the wrong questions, or rather repeating the wrong questions. He kept trying to press Yusuf on whether or not Farage had met him. But Yusuf battered the questions away by saying, well, the photo shows, Farage meets thousands of people very briefly. He can't possibly say he's met them all. He can't remember them all. So a photo of the two together is not proof of association. What Polanski should have said is that Gill and Farage both left UKIP in the same week. Gill became first a Brexit Party MEP, then the Reform UK Welsh leader, both positions needing Farage's approval. He then should have gone on to say that if Russia was approaching Nathan Gill with a view to bribing him, he would absolutely have approached Farage as well. Farage made the same type of statements about Russia, which we know Gill was paid for because he said so. Was Farage also paid for them, or did he sell out his country for free? That's the sort of thing Polanski should have been pushing. It's also what every other political leader should be asking, as well as serious journalists. That they are not is letting Farage off the hook. Stop quibbling over what a photo shows. It's a distraction. Start focusing on the big issues here, which is whether Nigel Farage turned traitor for larks or for rubles. However, what Polanski was able to expose was the fact that Farage is utterly desperate to avoid any association with Gill at all, despite them having been politically close for years. And not just Farage, Richard Tice has also been saying he's never met Gill, this despite the fact they were both also in the same party as MEPs. And also, here's Richard Tice a few years ago, not only photographed with Gill, but promoting his work in Wales for Reform UK. And actually, Richard Tice was technically leader. He'd just taken over the leadership of Reform UK when Nathan Gill was made Welsh leader for Reform UK. So, Tice has an easier time saying he wouldn't have been that close to Gill, but still stupid to deny knowing him. And yet this is what both Farage and Tice are doing. They're not trying to downplay the closeness of their relationship where they might have a chance. They're trying to deny that there was ever any relationship, no matter how superficial at all. But this is obvious nonsense. So there must be a reason why they're telling such desperate lies. And I think it's this. So think about this logically. Ask yourselves, why did the Russians approach Gill in the first place? Like, they won't have approached all MEPs. They will have profiled for the ones where you've got maximum chance of success. They didn't stand outside the main entrance to the European Parliament building with a dodgy trench coat saying, do you want to buy some Russian bribes today, sir? Madam, Russian bribes. No, they will have profiled the sort of MEP who might have been sympathetic to the idea and approached them. The last thing they would want is to get the wrong people and be reported to the security services, because then they've got to find new agents to go and ask. And what is the profile of an MEP who might promote Kremlin talking points? Well, it's someone on the far right who approves of Putin's strongman approach and has publicly attacked the liberal democratic principles of the West. Nathan Gill ticked those boxes, so they approached him. So too does Farage. I mean, we know Farage took money from the Russians to make pro-Russian comments because he did it openly on Russian Today, but that was legal. The question is, did he do any of this illegally? Did he use his position as an MEP to promote Russian foreign policy for money? We know he promoted Russian foreign policy. We just don't know if he was bribed to do so. We know Gill was, he's admitted it. By denying even knowing Gill, despite being an MEP with him in UKIP and the Brexit Party, whilst Farage was leader both times, I mean, is Farage really going to say he didn't even know his own parliamentary colleagues? Seriously? Like, Keir Starmer's got over 400 parliamentary colleagues. He won't know all of them well, but he knows all of them. Nathan Gill was one of only 14 Brexit Party MEPs. Is Farage seriously going to tell us he didn't know him when he did not know his 13 parliamentary colleagues? Especially as Gill followed him out of UKIP at the same time several years before. Farage smells extreme danger here, and political leaders should sense that. But don't waste your time trying to pin Farage to Gill. The link is obvious. Don't waste time in pantomime arguments. Oh, yes, he was. No, he wasn't. Ask the real questions. Russia targeted Gill on the basis he'd been supportive of Putin's approach to government and attacked Western liberal values. That would have been one of the Russian checklists used to approach potential bribery targets. Not the only one. There's also some on the left. But for the right, that would be their checklist. Farage ticked those boxes just like Gill. Ergo, Russia will definitely have approached him as well. There can be no serious doubt about that. Don't ask Farage if he was approached. Assume he was and ask how he responded when he was approached. Did he report the approach to the authorities as he should have done? If not, why not? Let him try to deny ever being approached and then see what comes out of Gill's explanation as to how he was approached, on what basis. Then go back to Farage. Keep asking the question, does my head in that people behave as if Farage is some political grandmaster? No, he's not. He's just diligent enough to understand how to push outrage and takes advantage of a lack of robust attacks on his methods from both politicians and journalists. But he's incredibly weak to some obvious lines of attack. What did he say when Russian agents approached him? Did he make the same sort of statements as Gill for rubles or for free? Who paid for his Clacton house? Wasn't his partner? Why is he attacking the surge in immigration resulting from the Boris wave when he not only said it would happen back in 2016 and would be a good thing, but praised the moves in 2021 as well? He only suddenly didn't like it when it all blew up in 2022. There are so many questions which would represent major obstacles to Farage if only they were asked and repeatedly asked. And Labour especially should take note. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stop talking about the things Farage likes talking about. Talk about the things he's afraid of. He's afraid of talking about Russian bribes or buying houses or his support for the Boris wave or Liz Truss mini budget or workers' rights, better housing, cleaner energy, so on. Talk about those things. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And for more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.